top of that, there was a witch times 2.
That was a lot. I think the most I ever had in my second placement was
welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you haven't been here before, just want to say welcome to Wonder's World. This is a world where we speak about the world of social work, hair and beauty, property, vlogs, anything on check on my channel. And today we have not a guest, we have Shells back on the channel.
Hi guys.
Hi, and as you can tell by the description of the video, we are talking about social work. Social work! Yay! And we are here to discuss, actually this is one that quite a few of you have actually requested previously, and it's about our placement experiences. We will also offer some little tips and bit of knowledge along the way, but listen, our placement experiences.
You don't want to know about mine.
Yo! We'll kind of like merge it. I don't know how it is now, but when we studied at Hertfordshire University.
UH.
Yeah, we studied at Hertfordshire University, and we had to do 100 days placements for first year and 100 days placement for second year. And we were going to placement Monday to Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday was lectures. So we literally did not have a break.
No.
I'll start with talking about my first placement, which was it's gonna be. I'll keep that one brief because that was pretty like smooth sailing ish. Was it? No, it wasn't. No! Both of them weren't smooth sailing.
They weren't?
No!
I don't even remember what your first one was, to be honest.
Okay, I don't know where your first one was actually.
In frickin' Luton, the Bumbercleat. Mine was in Anyway.
Well, go on there, go on. Tell us about your first one.
Guys, my first placement was in Luton, and I wasn't driving at the time.
But why did they give you Luton when we were in Hertfordshire?
Thank you. Okay, and I had to get one smelly bus, yeah, and I used to sit on that bus for nearly an hour and a half, there and back here, to Luton, from UH to Luton.
Shells.
Swear down, this is what they done to me.
Why?
Seriously, this is what they done to me. And it was actually crazy, but yeah, my first placement was called Nyabingi. I don't know if they're still up and running now, but it was basically a mental health... But there were a mental health charity kind of support for Black Caribbean ethnic groups within the community.
That's quite vague now.
Do you remember? Yeah, now I mention it. Right. But yeah, I experienced experiences at that placement, boy.
What was it like?
Okay, so literally, me first going, I was thinking, okay, I don't know what to expect. But it was literally just like a voluntary service for people who were who had got like significant mental health problems, but they were like on the doing well end, so they were like integrating back into community, blah 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 blah, and they would provide like support groups and stuff to.
So were you in an office?
There was an office, and I would send emails from the office. That I can't actually explain to you guys what my placement consisted of.
What?
And it was. And then making meals with them. It was literally like, it wasn't social work, it was more like healthcare assistant role, I would say. Yeah, it was more like, I don't mean to laugh because it is still working with vulnerable people. However, I wouldn't say that I was in the social work role. It was more like you're kind of just doing admin stuff or
Whatever,
like just
basically.
like chairing meetings or like chairing the groups, and we'd rotate it with all the students that were there at the time. I just reckon it was a way for them to obviously get some money from the local authority. I shouldn't say this, but I just genuinely think that it was.
I actually think your first placement,
it was.
It's just whatever.
Yeah.
Some sort of experience with people, adults, families. But mine was in a care home for adults with learning disabilities. I'm going to be very honest in saying that, let me tell you, when I applied for social work, I don't think I actually, and I didn't know this when I was applying and when I was in it, but knowing what social work is now, I didn't know what social work was in my first year of uni. I didn't know what social work was in my second year of uni, and my placement didn't help because I didn't do social work in my placement.
Yeah, same.
In my placement, I would literally come into the home and I'll sit on the dining table with my laptop.
I remember, was there one where you had to help them with their poo or something?
Okay, so I didn't. So that wasn't a social work role, but the staff in the home, that was their job. It's a care home.
Yeah.
You know, when people do caring jobs, that's where they come to work. And I'm obviously, because it's not a social work role, I'm not helping with those duties. But there was a time where I helped with the food. Like I saw them they were about to they didn't wash the meat, and they were about to cook the meat for the people, and I said, can you wash the meat please? And then I put a bit of salt and pepper that I found in the thing, and we made a meal for them. Or when one was going for an ear irrigation, when she had to get her ear cleaned, I just went and I wrote a quick piece about it as part of my placement portfolio because I didn't know what else to write about. Or when one had a fall in the home and then she had some treatments and the impact it had on everyone and her, I just used that as an opportunity on what to write because there was nothing to write, and I didn't set my 2 eyeballs on the social worker from the day 1 to day 100 of that placement.
Really?
No, I didn't even know what would the social worker be doing. I didn't know.
There was no social worker attached to mine.
Yeah, I was so confused. And on top of that, there was a witch times 2. There was a witch, yeah. Guys, the thing is, I don't think we speak about social work a lot, but I don't think we've actually spoken about what it was like. There was a witch that was on our course. She was actually a lecturer. And in my first year of uni, she actually said to me that I should quit social work. She said to me, I think you should quit social work because I don't see you passing.
Mad. How did she even come up with that?
Is she God? And that was, I don't blame her, but I don't blame her because, to be honest, in first year, all I wanted to do was get my 40% and keep it moving because your first year grades didn't count towards your final grade. So I was just very enjoying uni.
She done it up in enjoyment.
I was enjoying uni, but still making sure I at least passed. Or I just didn't do too much, staying in the library, studying. I didn't do all of that because I just thought, I just need to understand what they're saying, try and write something about what they're saying and then pass. That was what I was doing. And then I think she probably just, I don't know what, but she just decided, thought she was God that was determining my destiny and told me that she doesn't see me passing. So then what she then done, for my second year, she made sure that my placement was a placement that she was the trustee for. She was one of the trustees for this placement. And one day, she came to the placement, unexpectedly one morning, came to the placement and said, we're having a meeting today. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you. She's like, we're having a meeting today. I was like, okay. She's like, did you know what the meeting was about? I was like, no. She goes, it's about terminating your placement.
Oh, wow.
This woman had it in for me. She said it's about terminating your placement. I said, oh, okay. I become so nonchalant. Yeah, basically. I'm not going to be like, So I literally sat in the meeting and she was saying and the manager was just saying all these good things about Stephanie and and this is the witch. Oh wow, well this meeting went the complete opposite direction to what I expected it to. And literally, cut a long story short, after the meeting, she came up to me because I literally thought let me just go about my business in the home. She came to me in the home, in the living room, and she goes to me, Stephanie, is there anything that's going on at home? You really come across really poker faced. I can't really read you. Is there anything happening at home?
Wowzers. What a cheat. What if that's my natural face? What if I just
and it's like she wanted a reaction out of me. It's like I don't know what she wanted from me, but from having that meeting with me in first year, that I should quit the course, to then come into the placement and saying we're here to terminate your placement when it wasn't even up for discussion that there was any sort of concern. You just turned up one morning, maybe she had discussion in the background, and then you're coming to me telling me, is there something at home?
That is rude.
She had it in for me, man, honestly. But anyway, that placement in first year was not social work.
Neither was mine. Mine was, I had a very similar thingy to you, but I had some personal issues going on at the time, right? And then literally, I just remember it was coming up to my 3-month review, and I was like, I don't know, like, what I'm doing here. I don't know what the purpose of me being here is. Like, I was literally on my phone 24/7. I'm not even...
Same!
I would be on my phone, they would always catch me on my phone. As soon as I got in, I was like, oh, Rochelle will be late. Okay, I'm taking a bus across the county. Yeah, an hour and a half. Like, what do you guys want me to do? I get on the bus, like, even waiting in the car. If I miss that bus, guys, my life would be doomed.
And you used to travel when it was snowing, isn't it?
Snowing, correct. It was mad.
That was me.
It was mad. But yeah, no, I had a very similar meeting, and they were like, oh, what's going on with you? Like, but obviously I had stuff going on, so I wasn't really going to tell them what I had going on, but I was just like, I'm not really here, and I don't know what you guys are offering me, because I genuinely didn't know what. And they was like, no, we really want to give you what. It wasn't clear. Like, I didn't know what the expectations was. I was like, oh, well, we really want to see what's going to happen. Otherwise, we are thinking about, you know, your placement might have to come to an end. And I was like, you can't end my placement because I don't know what I'm doing.
You're not even.
You haven't even set out what the roles and my duties are. So it's not clear. I'm just coming here, and you're like, oh, Rochelle, this needs doing or that needs, and I'm just like.
Yeah, then they said to me, oh, Stephanie, just redo all the support plans for all the people in the home. So I'm having to now get their old support plan and redoing them. I promise you, on one of my iPads upstairs, there's still probably pictures that I took in the home, because I'm trying to redo the support plan because they literally had nothing for me to do. And it's weird because I come in, I sit on the dining table on my phone, fiddle on my laptop and go home.
Yeah, it was, I'm not gonna lie, towards the end, obviously I can understand how it would link to social work to a degree, but at the beginning I was really lost.
I was lost, man.
Yeah.
So if you're lost in your first placement, it's normal. If you're like in a school or like in a social care, not social work, there's actually a difference. If you're like in that sort of placement, it's normal because
I think it's yeah.
But your second placement has to be statutory or forget it. If you're on a placement like this, similar to this, in your second placement, you're not, no chance that you're gonna, like, it'll be very difficult for you to survive in a social work in your ASYE, like in statutory.
I didn't have statutory.
Yeah, I know exactly where you worked as well. You worked near me.
Yeah.
CGL, I swear.
Yeah, CGI.
CGI, whatever.
Yeah.
Drug and alcohol.
Yeah, drug and alcohol.
But you were still like chairing meetings, weren't you?
Was I?
What were you doing in CGL?
Was it CGL?
Okay, wait.
It was CGI.
Wait, hold on. Guys, we're going to speak about our second year placement now. 100 days. This is where it gets more serious.
Yeah.
So where were you in your second year placement?
I was in a drug and alcohol service in Stevenage. Which was closer, but I still had to get the train, and then when she started driving, hopped in the car.
Both of us, yeah. But yeah, it was CGL.
It wasn't called.
Do you know why I know it was CGL?
Why? Because you used to do referrals.
It's Change Grow Lives. And the reason why I know is because when I worked in another local authority in London, they also had CGL.
I need to look at it again, but I'm not going to do it right now.
It's Change Grow Live?
No! Anyway, it was a drug and alcohol service. And when I first got there, again, I was like, okay, where does the social work fit into this? But luckily, there was a social worker who was there. Okay. And that made more sense to me because it was like, okay, cool, I can see how you kind of link in and what you do here. So I got to shadow her, and she would work with adults because obviously drug and alcohol services for adults. And then I would get to join in on their meetings. I would get to see how they do the prescriptions. And obviously when you're working with adults, what I've learned or realised now is that a lot of the work that we do in children's social care is with the adult as opposed to it being directly with the child. Yes, we're supposed to have the child at the centre, and yes, we do direct work with children, but we have to do work with the parents so they can understand the risks. So
that's why it's
it kind
called
of
children and families.
Yeah, so it really did link in, which was good. But yeah, no, I think my second placement went better than my first.
Because you actually met a social
worker. I met a social worker. But although at first she was really sceptical again, I was like, bro, I don't understand what I did in my last placement. So I'm coming here with really no expectations, of it. But after that, I think we had a little blip at the beginning. And then after she was like, no, you're fully competent. Like, I have no concerns about you or what you do and whatever. She was like, just get on with it, sort of thing. Like, you know what you're doing, just crack on. So.
But what did you have to do with the service users?
Yeah, so I have to, like, they would run groups. So I don't know if you guys know how a drug and alcohol service works, but obviously you're trying to help people get into recovery or helping people who are in recovery.
Is it through groups or one-to-ones?
Yeah, so you do one-to-ones, groups, prescribing them drugs, so like methadone, benzos, etc. So they're not on actual street illicit drugs. And then you'd also like have to liaise with children's services to give them updates about how the parents progressing, do their like progress plans. So yeah, there was a lot of things that you'd have to do there, and it was like a lot of it was a bit of community work. So like doing reach out and stuff like that, and then obviously making sure that referrals are coming into the service, so they're obviously getting funded because it's voluntary. But then also doing the kind of, I wouldn't say there was a statutory side to it, but if there was a parent who had, obviously you'd be seen as the agency that children's services are like relying on information from or for, you'd have to obviously give them your reports and up to date, share information, attending meetings. Yeah.
So that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's what I did.
Yes. So my second placement was in Hertfordshire Children's Services, based in Stevenage, down the road from Charles's, and
it was literally across the bridge.
Literally down the road. And let me tell you.
Did you have fun?
Let me tell you, I was a completely different person to who I am now, or who I've been for the last few years. I was a nervous wreck.
Was you?
I feel like, I don't know what anxiety, you know when people say I've got anxiety, I feel like I had anxiety then, but I don't have anxiety. Like I thought, my view of anxiety is people get anxious. Like I don't have anxiety, like I can put myself in situations, yeah, I'll be anxious, but I'll be out of it, but whatever. But I had anxiety, I promise you. The manager can be like, Stephanie, how are you today? How was your weekend? And I promise you, I feel like I'm moaning, crying.
Really?
Yeah, like I was such a nervous wreck, and I don't know why.
Maybe he was overwhelmed.
I don't know.
What was wrong with you?
My manager must have been thinking exactly that. What was wrong with you?
Wow.
I was just emotional. Was
it the transition to you actually having to do some work?
I was just, my first case, yeah, in this role. I think my first case in this role, yeah. Remember where I've come from, not really knowing what social work is, I'm just slapped in this team. My first case was a sexual abuse case. The dad saying something about, I don't really want to talk about it, but basically he got his 6-year-old or 5-year-old to feel his willy and stroke it up and down and pretend it was a carrot, basically. And then I had to actually speak to the parent about the referral that we've got, the disclosure the child has made. And then the following day, he goes and stabs himself in the chest. And...
No, wait, what?
And it was, I think they said it was an inch away from his heart or something. He survived, basically. And I'm like...
No, I would have been an emotional, overwhelmed wreck as well. Like, do I really want to do this?
So then, it's not even supervision. It's like a little, like an informal supervision. So before I'm going to the visit, or like the manager's trying to prep me, and she will ask me questions that like, Stephanie, what do you think you're going to say to this man? Or like, she'll ask me questions that my brain just shuts down. Like, it just shuts down. I'm not able to even I'm not able to even understand the question she's asking me. I just shut down. And I just feel like emotional. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I was just very like... Timid. I don't know what the hell was going on. Like, even thinking about myself not even now, throughout my career, compared to that, it's like, what was...
Who's that person? Who's that girl?
What happened?
Do you know what though? I think, yeah, because your building, even when I went in there to wait for you sometimes, I even felt overwhelmed going into that building.
It's so nice.
Because it was just so a difference from just sitting on my phone in a random office somewhere, like where there's hardly anyone. Open plan building where there's people just bustling through, like everyone just looks like they're bare busy. Like I remember it and I was just sitting there
like you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you don't have a clue. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and then my second case is such a small world. Social work is a small world. Bear in mind we're in Stevenage. It was a case, yeah. Mm-hmm. Cut a long story short, this mum was homeless and she had a baby. And cut a long story short, we had to go to the hospital to take her child away. Please believe that we're now sat in the circle in the hospital. This mum is absolutely sobbing her, proper sobbing, with her baby next to her. The social worker is their caseload, but I'm like shadowing or the co-working. Yeah. So everyone's stern, midwife, everyone's stern. She's sobbing. I promise you, if I blinked, I would have cried because I know what we're discussing. She just had a baby yesterday. It's not even, she's not abusing a child. She's just simply homeless. Mm-hmm. And we're discussing taking this child away. How is no one crying? Or how is no one, now I understand it, but then I was thinking, okay, I can't cry. I can't cry. And let me tell you how small this world is. This was a girl that I used to see every day in school. She was in the year above me. I went to Cat for Girls.
Wow.
She was in my sister's year. She was one of the girls I used to dance with, her batch. And I'm thinking, what? So it's now a tiny bit more personal. I just thought, that was my second case. And then supervision was just always very tense. I'd be tense, like, oh, what's she gonna ask me next? Like, I was just tense, I was just a nervous wreck.
Yeah. Did that improve, when it got to 6 months?
It would have improved, okay. Yeah. It would have improved, but I feel like I was still like that deep down. Mm-hmm. But you probably can't see it now. I'm not getting teary-eyed. You're not asking me how I am. I'm getting teary-eyed for no reason.
Yeah.
But I'll probably still struggle with answering the question that I probably even know the answer of. But I was just not confident. But I still got my work done. That's probably what saved me. I've done the visits. Social work is just all about being a human being, you know? Like, you just discuss what's there, be transparent, explain what's happening, and do your assessment. But then when this manager's asking you questions and you're not delivering, and you're not answering the questions how you're meant to, your work still speaks for itself, regardless of that conversation. So however she feels in that conversation, she can read my assessment and be like, okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? That's probably what made me pass, but I was not confident.
Wow.
Not in the slightest. But I was when I was out, though. When I'm out meeting families, I'm just like, fine. But then and on top of that, not long after these two, in my head at the time, traumatic cases, I'm going on a visit with someone else and then we're being chased up the stairs by a man that wanted to beat us up.
You went through a lot, you know.
All of that just didn't help. Like, it just didn't help how I was feeling.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, babes. I'm sorry. No, seriously.
I had to talk to you about
you placement. Did, and I just used to think. I mean, I
didn't explain properly to you.
No, not at the time. You just it's bare work.
But we were young though, so I might say whatever it is. Oh my gosh, Sheldon, I nearly cried today, and you probably be like, oh my gosh, swear, like it's not. We're not like how concerned we are now as adults because we were flipping 20 years old.
Was we
or
20?
19?
Yeah, 19.
We were 19.
No, we wasn't. Was
yeah,
we 19?
Right.
Oh my gosh, we were 19. No, we weren't.
Pretty much 19, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
I need to drink to that. It was a decade
ago. Yeah, let me have a drink actually.
And that was a decade ago. Oh my god. Oh my god. Old age. No.
But yeah, no, seriously, it was, but what made it really like, I think let me not say that, I was going to say, I think my manager really helped, you know, she really helped because she used to be, I used to see her, she was confused as to why I'm being emotional or why, she's probably confused, but the thing is, I feel like she was patient with me. I feel like she was really patient. She was understanding, and regardless of whatever, she didn't like doubt. She might have doubted, but she still put me in situations that helps me grow and blah blah blah. And I remember I actually applied for ASYE for the same team, and I didn't get it. And I understand because I wouldn't take me either because
Really?
I was just not. I probably wasn't ready, but I passed at the same time because, like I said, my work spoke for itself. But who I was as a person, I probably wasn't ready for assessment. But then even though they declined me for that ASYE role, they offered me a job in the MASH team. So it's not like they completely lost hope. They could still see some sort of potential, except for the fact that I was just a bit emotional. But yeah, so I just took the MASH role after that. So then I became the only social worker in the MASH team at the time. At the time, it wasn't even social workers. It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't. So
was
then
it
I
just support?
Yeah, there weren't social workers. Yeah, like admin people kind of thing.
Wow.
It was weird. So then I was getting like actual cases. I had a special role as a newly qualified because I was still above the rest because they weren't social workers.
That's very interesting.
That's weird.
It's unheard of.
It's probably changed now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. I suffered.
That was a lot. I think the most I ever had in my second placement was swearing, seeing them like maybe going through withdrawals and stuff. And obviously, if you've not been exposed to that lifestyle, it can be like.
It's quite interesting.
It is interesting. It was very interesting. That made me even go on to get my first job when I finished uni in a drug and alcohol service because I actually enjoyed it, but it was interesting as well, and I was learning a different side, and I was still working around social work because I didn't feel like I was even ready to go straight into social work because I still up until final year I didn't know what it was.
We're still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It was up until my last placement.
Yeah.
And you must have been still trying to figure it out.
I know, I was still trying to figure it out because I didn't know what it was.
Crazy.
Like, I still didn't know. And I feel like that's the downside of not having a statutory placement. You, like, unless you're actually actively going into a local authority and doing visits or whatever, you might not really not know.
Yes. Yeah. I remember there was no YouTube. No YouTubers doing all of this. Where we can actually be like, okay, good. Like, oh, I understand. No, we had nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. So it's literally your innocent life just plodding along. And then you get slapped with the mad, harsh reality of this other world where things actually happen that you've been shielded from all your life. I feel like, I'm thinking, he stabbed himself. Oh my gosh. He got his child to stroke his willy. Like, oh my gosh. I remember, like, I feel like now a lot of things are happening in the news, in live, you see stuff on social media, but them times we were so innocent, man.
I know, we didn't even have, like, social media. Instagram was like literally just about...
that were dancing and stuff. Instagram was just starting.
About popping off.
That's why my name is Wonder Woman 12, because I got Instagram in 2012.
Yeah.
That was, like, towards the end of second year uni. So we were just... closed up to life, actually. Yeah, it was just mad.
Yeah, so... What? That's what I can say. What?
But yeah, guys, this has been our placement experience. All I can say in terms of like top tips for your placement is just try your best to be confident if you can. If you can hide it, great. And if you can't hide it, maybe you should actually discuss it with your manager and actually say, I don't feel confident. Why don't I feel confident? Can you help me? Like, actually be very transparent. It goes a long way as opposed to you feeling it because they can see it. As opposed to you feeling it, not saying nothing. So just talk. The fact that you're actually saying and acknowledging that you're not feeling confident, the manager can be like, try this and try that. And you're going to be okay. Some sort of reassurance might come from that. So that's my first tip.
I'm going to say, for the second tip would be, if a placement opportunity comes up and you really don't feel like it's going to help you progress in the route that you want to take, or the route as Americans will say, please don't accept it.
Don't accept it.
Do not take it.
You can find your own. You can actually find your own.
Because you honestly don't want to be sitting there on your phone and then just being threatened with you're not gonna pass, you're not gonna pass, you're not gonna pass. Like genuinely, just don't accept it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just if I could go back, I would have not accepted those placements. At least one of them, because I'm like, I didn't have a statutory first time round, so why are you giving me
the second one?
There we go. I shouldn't have said I need a statutory placement, and I could have fought it more. But you just think, you just kind of get what you're given. They're looking at it in terms of who drives, who doesn't drive, who lives there, who doesn't live there. Like, so I was just like, let's just go with it. But don't. No, it's actually your life. You're paying for it. So if I'm paying for it, bro, I need to get everything out of that service as much as I can. So I would have pushed for it. I would say because you're gonna have to essentially go on to do your SYA, it's not the be end all of everything. Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
Really? You're not waste man.
No, along those lines. I was gonna
steal my thing.
No, I was gonna. No, it might be different actually.
Okay,
but before it goes again, I was gonna say that even though you go through all this sort of turbulence in your placement stages, you might already be in it. You might be in it and you can't get out now. Don't feel like it's the end of the world, because as you can see, we're fine and we've been fine. And to be honest, after that placement experience that I had, my first job and my first everything was absolutely fine. There was absolutely no problems. There was no tears, nothing. There was nothing. I don't know where all of that came from. But just don't feel like it's the end of the world. You can't, just have a bit of faith in yourself that you still can do this. Even though I wouldn't advise that you carry on, but if you want to carry on, just know that you can.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and I was literally just saying that it's not the be and end all of everything. Like, if you don't pass your second placement, like, challenge it, challenge the decision again. I'm a challenger. I'm gonna challenge everything. Like, see why and make sure that they're following the correct processes, and make sure you've had the correct support in place. Because if you haven't had the right support, how are you meant to pass something if you've not been supported? So yeah, that would be it from me.
That's true. They try to fail you, and then they haven't even put in the work themselves in terms of their own role. But you weren't even there when I was asking you for help. You didn't even give me adequate support. So then you want to fail me.
On what grounds?
So like Shell says, please challenge it, because just challenge it. Okay, guys, we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like, comment and subscribe to both of our channels. I am Shells and Wonders World. Like we said, we will try to bring social work content on a monthly basis from now on. And hopefully some exciting things will come from that. Hopefully one day we'll get to meet you guys, who knows. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks for watching.